Hello everyone, I am Mas Qureshi from LJ Institute of Applied Sciences. In this video, we are going to discuss SN1 and SN2 mechanism for nucleophilic substitution that falls under Unit 3A of Chemistry Paper 301 for Semester 5. That is, nucleophilic substitution at saturated carbon atom. This is first of the three videos that will cover the entire unit. So let us begin. So before starting, let us try to understand the title of the unit. So this unit is all about the saturated carbon that undergoes nucleophilic substitution. The carbon which contains only single bonds, or we can say sigma bonds, is called a saturated carbon. Now what is nucleophilic substitution? Substitution simply means replacing something. So the substitution reaction is all about replacing one atom or a group with any other group. Now nucleophilic substitution means the substitution initiated by nucleophile that will donate a pair of electrons to make a new bond. So by definition, nucleophile is actually a Lewis base that donates an electron pair. So it must contain at least one unshared pair of electrons. It can be a neutral molecule or a negatively charged species. So the general chemical reaction for nucleophilic substitution at saturated carbon can be written like this. Here generally halides are taken as leaving group. This heterolytic reaction proceeds mostly by one of the two main mechanisms, SN1 and SN2. So let us start with the SN2 mechanism. So it is a bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. In this mechanism, nucleophile attacks from the backside of the leaving group to interact with the delta positive carbon of the alkyl halide. This will cause the breakage of carbon halogen bond. This two process takes place at the same time without giving an intermediate, so it is a single step reaction that involves the formation of transition state. In the transition state, the carbon atom is weakly bonded with an incoming nucleophile and outgoing leaving group simultaneously. So both of these groups are having partial negative charge. Here, both of these groups are bonded with carbon in the linear fashion to minimize the steric strain. The remaining three sigma bonds of this saturated carbon lie in the plane perpendicular to these two weak bonds. Eventually, the nucleophile will make a pure sigma bond with the carbon, and the bond between the carbon and leaving group will be completely broken. And this attacked carbon will regain the tetrahedral shape with inverted configuration. So it is clear that SN2 reaction always proceeds with inversion of configuration. It is also known as Walden inversion. This inversion can be proved and explained by taking an example of any chiral carbon. Here we have taken the example of S2-bromobutane, where the alpha carbon is chiral and optically active. Iodide ion is a nucleophile and it will attack from the opposite direction of the bromine atom. So at the end of the reaction, bromide ion is removed, and as a product we will get 2-iodobutane, which is having R configuration. So it is a clear inversion of configuration from S to R. Similarly, now if we take R isomer of the reactant 2-bromobutane, then we will definitely get the S isomer of the product. So we can say that SN2 mechanism is stereospecific. Now if we look at the potential energy diagram of SN2 reaction, then it clearly indicates the formation of only one transition state and no intermediate is formed between reactant and the product. As it is a single step reaction, rate of the reaction is depending on the concentration of both nucleophile and the alkyl halide. That's why this reaction is bimolecular and it displays second order kinetics. This mechanism can be better understood by three-dimensional atomic model. So let's have a look. So this is our reactant having a tetrahedral shape. Now we need the nucleophile to start the attack from the opposite direction of the chlorine. Here I will take hydroxide ion as a nucleophile. So this is a hydroxide ion. Now it will get attracted towards delta positive carbon atom. Here we should know that why this nucleophile is approaching only from the backside of the alkyl halide bond. This is because of the steric hindrance that is minimum if the nucleophile approach from this direction. If the nucleophile approach from the same direction, then you can see here the steric hindrance will be maximum as both the leaving group and nucleophile are electronegative. If we put this nucleophile anywhere around these 4 sigma bonds, then also the strain could not be minimized. So this is the reason why it is coming from 180 degree of the carbon halide bond. So as this hydroxide ion comes close to the carbon, this chlorine atom will go away from the carbon and we will get the transition state. So it looks like this. Here both chlorine and oxygen are weakly connected with carbon atom and they are having a delta negative charge. Here rest 3 sigma bonds of carbon are lying in the plane that is perpendicular to these 2 weak bonds to experience minimum strain from both of the delta negative groups. So as the reaction proceeds, nucleophile will get closer to carbon atom and finally carbon halogen bond will be broken to give the substituted product methanol, and the carbon will regain the tetrahedral arrangement. Now here if we look at the reactant and the product, then we will get the idea about the Walden inversion. Here in reactant, CH bonds are bent toward left hand side, while in product they are bent toward right hand side. So it is clear inversion of configuration. If we compare the reactivity of different alkyl halide under SN2 mechanism, then it is found that the mechanism is highly favored by methyl and primary alkyl halide and it is least favored by tertiary alkyl halide. Again, the reason is steric hindrance. With methyl halide, the incoming nucleophile will observe minimum strain from 3 hydrogen atoms, while in primary alkyl halide it will observe nominal strain from 2 hydrogen and 1 methyl group. In the reaction with secondary alkyl halide, the nucleophile will experience moderate steric hindrance because of 2 methyl and 1 hydrogen, while in the case of tertiary alkyl halide, the incoming nucleophile will be surrounded by 3 methyl groups, so it will experience maximum strain. Hence, SN2 mechanism is not favorable for bulky tertiary alkyl halides. So now we will see SN1 mechanism with the stereochemical aspects. It is a unimolecular nucleophilic substitution. This mechanism is favored by the substrates which contain good leaving group and adjacent substituent which can stabilize the positive charge. It occurs in 2 steps. Step 1 involves the slow cleavage of carbon halogen bond to produce a carbocation and a halide ion. It is a reversible process. In second step, intermediate carbocation reacts rapidly with the nucleophile to give substituted product. This reaction is generally carried out in polar protic solvents. Now again look at the step 1. Here a neutral molecule dissociates to generate a cation, so higher energy is required. That's why it is a slow and rate determining step. Here in the rate determining step, only alkyl halide is involved, so that it is a unimolecular reaction and the rate of the reaction is depending only on the concentration of the substrate, that is alkyl halide, and it shows first order kinetics. As the rate determining step involves the formation of carbocation, here we can say that greater the stability of the carbocation, faster will be the rate of the reaction. The energy diagram also justifies the formation of 1 intermediate and 2 transition states. Here, the activation energy required for second step is much lower than the first step, so that the second step has no effect on the overall rate of the reaction. So the selection of nucleophile will not have any influence on the rate of the reaction. Now let us discuss the stereochemistry of this reaction. In step 1, as the alpha carbon is sp3 hybridized, it is having a tetrahedral shape. Once the leaving group is removed, the steric strain of the leaving group will also be removed from rest 3 sigma bonds, so it will adapt a trigonal planar structure having bond angle of 120 degree to minimize the strain. As the intermediate carbocation is planar, a nucleophile can attack from the either side of the plane with equal probability. So the product is mostly racemized. So if we consider that the substrate is having R configuration, then the product will get mixture of R and S enantiomers. And if we take S enantiomer of the substrate, then also we will get the racemic mixture of both R and S isomers. Hence we can say that SN1 reaction is not stereospecific. Let us understand the same thing through the 3D atomic model. Here I have taken the example of tertiary butyl chloride where the alpha carbon is 3 degree. So in the first step, once the chloride ion is removed, these 3 methyl groups will get shifted towards the right hand side to adapt the less strained planar structure. Now in the next step, as it is a planar structure, nucleophile can attack from the either side of the molecule to give two isomeric products. So finally we will get two isomer of the product tertiary butyl alcohol, in which the carbon will regain the tetrahedral arrangement. Now let us discuss the reactivity of different alkyl halide under SN1 conditions. Here again we must remember that rate determining step involves the formation of carbocation. So the greater the stability of carbocation, faster will be the rate of the reaction. So if we want to compare the reactivity of tertiary, secondary, primary and methyl halide, first we have to compare the stability of carbocation generated by the substrates respectively. Here tertiary carbocation is highly stabilized by plus I effect of 3 methyl groups that will provide partial negative charge towards the carbocation. The secondary carbocation is stabilized by plus I effect of 2 methyl groups, while primary carbocation is comparatively less stable because only one methyl group is there. Here, the methyl cation is least stable as there is no inductive effect. So, this is the reason why SN1 reaction is highly favored by tertiary halides and it is least favored by primary and methyl halides. However, primary benzylic and allylic halides can undergo SN1 reaction because their carbocations are stabilized by resonance. And as resonance effect is stronger than inductive effect, these carbocations have stability similar to that of the secondary alkyl carbocation. So now I would like to conclude this session with quick summary. In this video we have discussed two mechanisms, SN1 and SN2, where SN2 is a single step reaction. It involves the formation of a single transition state. The rate of the reaction is depending on the concentration of nucleophile and the concentration of the substrate. So it is a second order reaction. Here static hindrance plays a major role. This mechanism is favored by primary alkyl halides. While SN1, it is a two-step reaction that involves the formation of a reaction intermediate carbocation. So here, the stability of carbocation is an important aspect of this mechanism. It is a first order reaction and the rate of the reaction is depending on the concentration of the substrate only. This mechanism is highly favored by bulky tertiary alkyl halides. So that's it. Thank you.